Support WrestleTalk!
Alright, so in the course of the last 2 weeks, my Twitter has been destroyed by people saying I look like a Diglett. And I know that there's nothing I can do that will get Adam back as well as he's gotten me. So, you know what? Let's be nice about it. Let's be the bigger person. It's been his birthday this past week, which is why he's not recording this voiceover. So why don't you head on over to his Twitter, @AdamTheBlompier, and let him know that he's done a great job getting to 35 years old. Just all 35 years of it. A 3 and a 5 right next to each other. I just want this pettiness to end, so just let him know that he's looking great for a 35-year-old. That number again is 35. It's his favourite number. I'm Chopper Pete Quinnell from WrestleTalk, and here are 10 news stories from this week that you might have missed. Number 1, NXT Callup confirmed. The Triple H regime of WWE has seen several release stars from the black and gold era of NXT return to the company. Since the likes of Karrion Kross, Scarlett, and Dakota Kai returned, many fans have wondered and speculated who would be the first performers to make the jump from the current NXT 2.0 product to Raw and SmackDown full-time. Following his loss against Tony D'Angelo that banned him from the brand on the NXT Heatwave special, it became clear that Santos Escobar was being pegged for a call-up to the WWE main roster. Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio earlier this week speculated that the other members of Escobar's Legado del Fantasma stable, Joaquin Wilde, Cruz del Toro, and Elektra Lopez, would not be making the move with him, instead sticking with the D'Angelo family on NXT. However, this week's episode told a different story. After their loss to the Dyad, Wilde, Del Toro, and Lopez made their way to the most dangerous place in NXT, the parking lot, where Santos Escobar pulled up in a car to say, "You didn't think I was going to leave without you, did you? La Familia sticks together." So it looks like Legado will in fact make the jump to Mondays or Fridays together after all. Number 2, former NXT writer rejoining WWE. The former NXT names making their return to WWE aren't isolated to just in-ring performers. This week, Road Dogg Brian James made his return, taking over Jeff Jarrett's previous position as Senior Vice President of Live Events. With the New Age Outlaw making his way back, this led to Dave Meltzer alluding to another former key NXT person being discussed for a return. Fightful Select later revealed that the company had interest in bringing back former NXT writer and producer Ryan Katz. Katz played an integral role for the brand for the last few years before getting released in January 2022, so his return will be bringing one of Triple H's trusted circle back into the fold. Number 3, Index for Life. One of the crossover storylines from the end of the black and gold era of NXT into the current NXT 2.0 brand of today was originally the couple of Dexter Lumis and Indy Hartwell, known as Index. The two stars got married on the premiere of 2.0 last September and remained aligned after the departure of Indy's The Way stablemates Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae. This is why many fans were confused when the story was dropped following the release of Lumis in April. However, fear not, because love perseveres in the Triple H regime of WWE. With the game's habit of bringing back former stars to the company, the real-life Sam Shaw has been popping up on Monday Night Raw in a unique invasion-type angle that saw him kidnap The Miz on the August 22nd edition of the show, which precisely 0 people cared about. To seemingly wrap up the love story of Index, though, Dexter made his way back to NXT 2.0 on Tuesday to console his wife following her loss to Blair Davenport. After a promo reflecting on her struggles over the last 4 months since being left alone, Lumis popped up from under the ring and embraced Hartwell before carrying her backstage. Before the police arrested him outside the CWC, Lumis shared a kiss and handed Indy a love note saying, "Goodbye, Indy, for now. I heart symbol you forever." I guess that's sweet. Number 4, No Way Jose accusation. Former WWE stars are doing more than just returning to their previous place of employment. They are also appearing in All Elite Wrestling as well. Over the weekend, Weston Blake, aka Wesley Blake, and No Way Jose, aka Levis Valenzuela, made their debuts at the AEW Dark tapings in Orlando. However, for Jose, it seems the circumstances around his appearance have been muddy to say the least. Canadian indie promoter Graham Keane posted a Facebook video accusing Valenzuela of switching the destination on a plane ticket he sent him as part of a booking, so the ex-WWE star could try out for AEW instead. After the video went viral, Keem updated it to say the money was returned. Number 5, Mustafa Ali's entrance music. Mustafa Ali was a name that generated plenty of buzz earlier this year when he publicly requested his release in January, following creative differences with the old regime of WWE. There were several plans discussed and scrapped ahead of his release request and subsequent return to the company in April, but one major one was revealed this week on social media. Replying to to a fan on Twitter, Ali revealed that at one point there was a plan for him to come out with Hulk Hogan's Real American theme. Last year, the WWE star released a political-esque promo where he talked about introducing a new America, so it makes sense that WWE would look to one of the most popular theme songs to further establish the new gimmick. Also, it would be very funny. Number 6. Cody Rhodes on AEW's birth. 2022 has been a rather surreal year. Before Vince McMahon's sexual misconduct allegations led to his resignation from the company, the biggest story on the calendar had been former AEW EVP Cody Rhodes leaving the company he helped to create to make his return to WWE at WrestleMania 38 in Dallas. A fan tweeted, "People severely underestimate the importance of Cody Rhodes in getting AEW started," which Rhodes actually replied to by saying that without Brandi and himself, the promotion wouldn't exist. Cody wrote in response, "Facts are all out there to see. Without Brandi or I, it wouldn't exist. Look no further than some of the infrastructure in place or even half of the names of the events. Tony, Bucks, Kenny, Jericho, Dana, Hang, pioneers. I've moved on to the next stage for me, but beautiful memories." Number 7. Swerve Strickland rules out WWE return. Ever since Hit Row made their way back to WWE on the August 12th edition of SmackDown, fans have questioned if and when Swerve Strickland would return to reunite with Top Dollar, Ashante the Adonis, and B-Fab. This led to the former NXT North American champion to go on the record to clear up any confusion there may be regarding a possible WWE return. After Strickland commented on the exciting Johnny Gargano return on this week's Monday Night Raw, a fan replied with, "You're next." Swerve responded simply with, "Nope." With Swerve just signing with All Elite Wrestling in March and already reigning as AEW World Tag Team Champion with Keith Lee, it seems like the former Isaiah Scott is perfectly fine with his current employer. Number 8. IWGP Women's Championship. New Japan has had a busy few weeks with the end of the G1 Climax 32 tournament and the rest of 2022 seeing their returns to London and New York City. On top of all that, the company is gearing up for a historic joint event with all-female promotion World Wonder Ring Stardom entitled Historic X Over on November 20th. The show will also see the crowning of the first ever IWGP Women's Champion. A tournament to determine the first champion will kick off on October 2nd at Royal Quest 2 with the international bracket first round match. One international star will receive a bye to the semi-finals, while the Stardom bracket will feature 4 stars and kickstart on October 22nd and 23rd. On Tuesday, Tokyo Sports subsequently revealed the design for the title, which was based on the design for the second IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and is quite pretty. After the inaugural champion is decided, their first defense will take place at Wrestle Kingdom 17 in the Tokyo Dome on January 4th. Number 9. Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega promos. Speaking of New Japan, IWGP United States Heavyweight Champion Will Ospreay made his return to AEW on the August 24th edition of Dynamite, teaming up with his United Empire stablemates Aussie Open to defeat Pac, Penta Oscuro, and Rey Fenix to advance in the World Trios Championship Tournament. On next Wednesday's Dynamite from Chicago, United Empire will face Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks of the Elite. This marks the first time Omega and Ospreay will meet, since both men have pulled no punches in burying one another in interviews. The shoot comments continued following Wednesday's Dynamite episode. After Omega offered Ospreay the first opportunity to speak, Will said, "I didn't know the cleaner was a puss. Fill your shoes. The way I see things is the short time I've been in New Japan, I've seen and done more, you fragile bitch. I just did the G1, went to the final, another 5 stars. While I've been working, you've been sitting down and getting the Young Bucks to wipe your ass." Kenny responded with, "You want to talk about doing everything I've done except doing more and sooner? That could be true, except the only difference is I did it in front of a full sold-out crowd, and you did a G1 final in front of what, 3,000 people? After the hardships that I faced to give people like you an opportunity, you would think that maybe you'd be able to do a little more with it." To say that next week's Trios Tournament semi-finals has a lot of heat would be an understatement. And number 10, Wardlow is a nice man. Let's end our list with some positivity once again. Here is a heartwarming story that'll make you love former MJF bodyguard and current TNT champion Wardlow. Former Impact Wrestling star Lady Frost took to Twitter to share a tale about Wardlow's generosity outside the squared circle, writing, "There's a lot of negative wrestling news that flies around, so I want to share some positivity. Saturday night, Wardlow saw a little girl crying. Her mum couldn't afford to buy her my Slam Buddy, so he walked over to me, bought one, and gave it to that little girl. Not only is the former Pinnacle member a big man, he has a big heart and made a child smile. That is a wonderful way to end this week's top 10. So that's our list. Is there any other stories that you think we missed that we should talk about? Then leave a comment saying what it is. Also like and subscribe, and stay tuned for more daily wrestling news videos and other content and such. Also go tweet Adam that he's 35. I've been Chopper Pete Quinnell from WrestleTalk, and that was news. Jam that jam.